Hello. Hello, my lovelies. Come and say hello to me. Hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson. Come say hello to me. Come say hello to me. Who's here? Today is a new day. What are we going to talk about today? That's what I'm not so sure of. Elaine Marolakos Edelson with Astrology Mojo. I want to help you get your mojo back. And in case you don't know me, you may not know that I say that the planets in astrology, in the heavens, oil can, don't make you do anything. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, however, the planets reflect that by way of aspects and angles in astrology. So basically, astrology is a tool given to us by other planetary systems, oh yes, and it's not meant to dictate your life. It's meant to use as a tool to understand your timing. And I'm graying out again. I don't understand the gray business. I'm disappearing. You know, one of my favorite colors is silver, so maybe that's what it's about. Hey, Rikara Lee Barnes, wholeness sister. Yes, here we are. Sisters. God, what was that silly 50s movie? God help the mister who comes between me and my sister. Yeah, I think it was a Christmas movie. Anyway. I'm graying out. I don't understand. Let's try to do a little magic. Did that work? I am so magical. What are we talking about today? Well, why not you dictate the course? So come and join me and ask anything you like. It's an open forum today. You can ask, and this is not meant for personal readings, so please abide by that. But if you want to talk about tarot or cards or oracle readings or starseed or astrology or the planets or what things mean, methods to open up, to channeling, tapping methods, EFT methods. I mean, there's so much we could talk about. And, but I woke up blank today. Me? Blank? I did. And I'm still blank. And I look at my desk and I have all these crystals and I've got my cards and I've got my astro dice and I was rolling things today, pulling cards, and nothing was sticking. Nothing was landing. So I just thought, okay, what do I do? My husband said, why not just have an open forum? And maybe let people decide what they want to talk about. Well, you can certainly, I won't be doing personal readings here today, but if you're called, Rikara says, called to start tarot, but how do I enhance intuition? That's a great question, and thank you for that. You know, enhancing intuition is something that is so simple. All you have to do is still your mind. Be still. Be still. And then, I mean, this is age old, ancient. When you are still, you can come to a place of hearing the difference between your intuition and your thoughts. And for someone who teaches intuition, I think it's important that when you start to listen to what's happening, and you can do it through meditation, you can sit still and get quiet, you can gaze at a candle flame, you can walk in nature, but I want you to become aware of your mind jumping to and fro, back and forth, up and down. And when you do, that's when stillness can occur. So if you can get to a place where there are trees, if not, then stay inside and be quiet and less distracted by an environmental thing like TVs, telephones, radios. You know, sometimes it's hard if you've got kids. But when you can find that quiet time and you close your eyes, do some breathing in through the nose, out of the mouth, in through the nose, out of the mouth, and you start to calm down and bring your awareness from the thoughts that are taking you over there. What happened yesterday? What should I cook for dinner? I can't believe she said that. To Inhale, exhale. Bring your awareness back to the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe. Once you start this practice, daily habit, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, work your way up to 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. I meditate for 45 minutes at a time. Sometimes assisted. I'll listen to Steve Noble. I have my own meditations. I'll listen to my own meditations just to get focused, to be guided. And when I do, that's when I can feel my body start to calm down. So meditation is a wonderful way to start being present, because the now is the only time there is. This is it. So, yeah, it happened yesterday or last year or last lifetime, and we carry some of that with us, but now in the present moment, we can make a choice to go to the next moment. And so when you enhance your intuition and you don't doubt it, I am clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. And that's an important, thank you again for this question. So I'm going to go a little further with it. So when you start to get really quiet with meditation and you can differentiate between the thoughts in your head and the feelings in your body and the intuition that spurs the truth, and it's a whisper, it's so quiet because the truth doesn't need to scream at you at all. So when you do, then you can do some experiments and some exercises and methods to increase your intuition. And one of them that I teach is to be able to have someone have a card deck in front of you and pick up a card, and your only job is to intuit, is it black or red? That's it. Black or red. Now, you may not be correct, and that's not the point. The point of the exercise is to intuit, how are you getting your information? Are you clairaudient? Are you hearing something? Are you hearing a whisper? Are you hearing a word? Are you clairsentient? Do you feel it in your body? Do you get warm and think, oh, it's red? Or do you just get the sensation of what the color is? Or are you clairvoyant, and do you see it in your mind? So when you start to meditate and you get really adept at being still every day, several minutes at a time, and use your breath to bring your attention back to the present, very gently escort your thoughts to the door, bring your mind back to the present tense. And what happens is eventually you start to really feel what's going on inside. Are you clairaudient, clairsentient? Do you see? Do you smell? Do you taste? That's sentient. And when you do, and you might be all three, you might be all, and there's more clairs. Clair just is French for clear and seeing. And once you do get that sensation, then you're on the road to really increasing your intuition. Does that make sense? You're so welcome. Hey, Christine's here. Hi. Also, we're coming up, we just came out of, I want to talk more about, Rikara says she's a Cancer with a Capricorn in the 5th house. So if you are Cancer, if anyone is a Cancer sun, rising, or moon, we just came out of some eclipses in January that for Cancers and Capricorns, they are still in effect, and they will be this summer as well. So July is a very pivotal month. I've been getting a lot of, because I've been doing so many meditations and really listening. I have gone to a place where everyone's a channel, okay? Everybody channels. But I started out here, like imagine a straw at the top of your head and you're pulling in information. And then the more you meditate, what happens is suddenly the straw opens up a little wider. It's like a channel, a funnel. And then it goes wider, wider, wider until you are the channel. You are the funnel. And you get to a point where I am coming to now in my meditations where the moment I say something I know intuitively, that's not true. But yet I'm on a track to get it going. So, I'm baking something and I throw in half a cup of my almond flour and my intuition says another third of a cup. But instead I put in another half a cup. So why am I being so such a bully with my intuition. You want to pay attention to these things as well. That's a new language as well, because when you do, what you come up with is a greater truth. Now, so the waves that I've been getting, the information that I've been getting has been all encompassing. And sometimes I don't know where to put it. So I'm going to my next level. It's a very subtle experience, but because I'm adept at it, I'm listening more and more. So it's very intense, and I want you to be able to trust your intuition. So do those exercises and build up to a place of, oh yeah, this is true. Now, you may not be able to validate with facts and data. Some people want to know, well, how do you know that information? As I was getting this past week, and I don't talk, this is not a political forum, I do not talk, but it came out, and I just feel that our current sitting president is becoming ill physically. And I do not see him in the White House in the future. So we hope that, opinions aside, we hope that everyone is well and that nothing too serious happens to anyone. But then there was a blank space, and I said to my husband, well, what could that mean? If this person is not elected and I don't see Joe Biden in the White House, I don't see them in the White House. Before Trump was elected way back then, I kept looking at Melania, and I said, I don't see her in the White House. What can that mean? Does that mean that he doesn't get elected? Does it mean that he does, but she chooses not to be there? Does she leave him? I didn't know what it meant then. And I'm seeing the same kind of thing. And also, I'm also getting, in the past couple of weeks, with my starseed and my angels and passed on loved ones, that there are 5 waves of this virus. 5 waves. And we're in the first. And so as it does its thing and it mutates and it changes, we're going to see a whole new level of our evolution. This is it's a strengthening time for people, but sometimes we have to turn off the light, go into the dark, and really get connected to what's real before we can move forward. So there's a passage. And a lot of people are undergoing a passage right now. It's like, oh my gosh, I think I might lose my job, or, oh no, I've got so much work and I'm not set up at home. Well, how do I handle this? So a lot of people are undergoing a very huge transition, and it's planetary, it's global. And my father came to me several times to talk about these waves. And we will see a transition happen in North America in July, August, where then we start to readjust and we start to accept the new normal and we calm down a little bit. But then we have to remember, we can't go back. We can't go backwards. So we have to then take a new step and utilize that step daily, until we get through that next transition, because another part of the world will enter that wave. And so 5 waves. I don't know how long it will take, and I will continue to listen. So anyway, hi, Christine. Oh, and the eclipses have a big role to play in these things. So we've got another set of eclipses coming up, and I'll talk about that next week. I'll be back on Monday. We're about to enter Venus in retrograde, so I'll talk about that more, coupled with the Mercury in retrograde in May through June, and I'll talk about that on Monday. But anyway, hi, Christine. Hi, everyone. I've been following Esther Abraham Hicks for a while. Yes, they're great. I used to listen to them on video. Remember videotapes back in the 80s? Yeah, and seeing them live. It's a pervasive awareness. So good for you. Focus. Add crystals and sound really makes everything more powerful. Do you have tips on combining different... Oh, wait, I have to click the word see more. Seymour? Who's Seymour? Do you have tips on combining different mediums? Yes, I do. Great question. Okay. Now, if you're new to crystals, you may want to get started with the simple ones, like a quartz crystal. And a quartz crystal, let me just grab some. This is a crystal wand. And as you can see, it has inclusions and you see that? That's very cool. So there's all kinds of crystals. So if you can get a crystal that is at least palm size, it doesn't have to be very big, but at least 1 inch by 1 inch, and utilize your intuition to pick the crystal. And you can get something online. You don't have to, like these days, you may not be close to a store that has one. You may be wary of going out. Maybe they closed for a few months. Again, this is a very kind of transition time for everyone. So, but I used to, back in the 80s, sell crystals and work with them and then put them in groupings based on, are they teacher crystals? Are they... well, anyway, I'm not going to get into too much to the types of crystals, but you resonate with one. If you go, oh, that's pretty, it could be that simple, okay? And you pick up a crystal and you go, oh, I love this. This feels so good. That's an indication that that's something you can use right now. And I charge my crystals. I clean my crystals. You have to be careful of the ones that are based in salt because they can melt if you put them in water. But in utilizing sound vibration, even Tesla did this and started this, although his ability to produce was not as solid as Westinghouse or Edison. But Tesla believed that crystals were living things, and so do I. I've actually worked with enough crystals to watch the inclusions change. Excuse me. Let's just take a sip of my tea. Now, I chant every day and I work with vibrations and vibrational healing. Now that we have Neptune in Pisces and the Sun in Aries, they may seem like they're at odds, but if you want to take action, then we're going to default to utilizing crystals. You can use solid rocks as well. So here's like I put my hand on this like this. This is my selenite. I keep on my desk. Selenite amplifies and it cleans. So if you have access to, you know what, I might talk to my gal Courtney, who sells most of my crystals, and see if I can post something online so that you could go to them and get really great prices, best prices around. And this is a selenite disc. And a selenite disc, and I think this was maybe $6, or $7, something like that. I don't even remember, but it was less than $10. And anyway, a selenite disc will recharge all of your crystals. So once you use them, it's important that you put them on top of a disc or near some selenite. And it also helps to amplify you. So if you've got an issue, you can place it on your body, you can work with it, etc. So having different crystals and moving the vibration of what you would like to experiment with. Let's say you want to just increase your intuition. There's so many different types of rocks and stones in the world. Just grab one that resonates with you. That's where you start. And once you start that experience, then you'll know some you can actually sleep with, like an amethyst or a clear quartz. But make sure there's no hard edges so you don't cut yourself. Or it drops and it breaks and you're like, no, that's my crystal. So this wand, I would experiment on physical. This is my physical wand, so that I use it for, an ache or a pain, and I'll just, it's a massage wand. So I use it for that purpose. At the same time, I will listen to Deve Primo and Mitten and chant with them. And any other music that inspires me. It does not have to be spiritual music. I listen to Irish music. It brings me right back to my lifetime in Ireland. And I listen, and, me as the sage man in the woods, talking to horses and conjuring. So whenever I pick up a crystal, and by my desk, I keep fluorite. Fluorite helps to move electrical energy because it has a matrix. It looks like a computer chip. I don't know if you can see that. See, fluorite. That's one version of fluorite, and then I have another one in pyrite. This is actually green, so it's on a green screen, so it's going to show up clear. But anyway, the matrix in a crystal is something that you can utilize when pick one crystal and work with it for the week and talk to the crystal. I mean, literally, I'm wanting to work with you here. Lately, I pulled out my citrine and said, I'm feeling the vibe to work with you. And you can see it's very dense on the inside of this particular citrine. Can you see that? It's kind of dense, right? Now, if I worked with this every day for 10 years, these inclusions would move. They would change. And so I was called to bring this back into my awareness. I also have a different type of citrine. Let me just scoot out of frame for a moment. And I have a darker cluster of citrine with some aquamarine on top. So when I am working with a crystal, I will chant, I will hum. And a great thing you can do is just go through literally a scale. And it can be do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, but that's not the complete scale. You can do harmonics with solfeggio frequencies. You can go on YouTube and look up isochronic tones, binaural beats. These things are best done with earphones because they have to present in each ear because they make their different tones and different beats at the same time in each ear, and it raises the frequency. What Tesla left us and that people are working on literally are, you can look at biomats, EMF wave, wands. There are different types of things but you really have to research it to make sure that you're not enhancing an illness and that you're actually giving the frequency. Really study that if you're going to go that far with healing an illness with frequency. But it has been shown that, like in the harmonic egg, if you have one in your neighborhood and they're still open right now, you can actually visit a harmonic egg. And that was designed by a gal in Colorado. And it's literally constructed with hexagons on the inside and a recliner chair. And different music creates different vibration. And that vibration literally moves through your cells and helps to vibrate a frequency to clean out toxins, to enhance DNA performance, to minimize illness, and certain sounds. I think it was, if I can remember correctly, certain violins would deal with reducing the level of cancer cells in prostate, colon, and breast cancer. I can't remember the other vibrations. Piano, I think piano dealt with feminine issues and candida and yeast infections, literally. It would change the vibe in the body. So when you're listening to, and you don't need to know all this, this is years of me researching. But if you have a propensity toward a certain sound, classical music, an instrument like violin or cello or piano, or it's soft music, or it's meditation music that has rain behind it, or, any kind of sound that helps you to feel a certain way, you intuitively know that this sound is for you. Does that make sense? So when you utilize vibration to get you in the vortex, and that is your place of alignment, and that is your truth, you'll know it. And it can change moment to moment, day to day. So you may think, okay, one day, let me just explore different kinds of music. And you may hear music from around the world and say, I resonate. I can't even tell you about taiko drumming. When I hear taiko Japanese drumming, there's something in me that feels powerful. But if I heard the Rolling Stones drumming, I would cringe and feel small. So there's certain musics I will not allow myself to listen to because of what it does to my body, right? So I want you to be able to listen to different types of music, from, world music, Indian, Eastern Indian, African, music from Portugal, music from the 15th century. Sometimes I listen to Hildegard von Bingen, not sure how to pronounce it. Anyway, she was a nun in the 12th century, I think, and she wrote music, and then it was recorded recently. and it's tonal. I hear pure sounds. And so I will charge my crystals to music. And it's not all crystals. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Like I would go to gem and mineral shows a long time ago. I would dig in anywhere I went with my family. I would just dig for rocks. I would go in the woods. I would dig. I don't even know where I found this, but I was about 7 or 8 years old. See this? I don't know where I was. I have no memory of acquiring this stone, but I know I hid it under my bed in a box of rocks. And my mother would always say to me, "Would you get those rocks out of here?" And it wasn't until later that I realized that this was an emerald. And I always felt so grounded. I would hold this at night and I would talk to it and I would feel so special and calm. And I would look at the colors and go, yeah. So, there's all kinds of rocks and stones. This I got at a gem and mineral show back in Jersey, I don't know, 100 years ago. I used to sell these kinds of things. This is tourmaline. This is pink tourmaline in crystal with a little bit of green tourmaline. Right? So there's all kinds of rocks and stones. The vibration of utilizing sound with crystals is go with what feels right. Go with what feels in the moment like, ooh, and it can be as simple as, that looks really pretty. I don't know what it is. And it may be irradiated, I tend to not get too many stones that are irradiated. So if you see like a bright blue color or a bright, it looks like watercolor, stones, they've most likely been irradiated. Now they will do that a lot of times in the mines. They'll take a stone out and they put it through a process belt that throws radiation at it, and it kills bacteria and germs, but it also alters the color. But some stones are enhanced because of that, like tourmaline. Tanzanite. Tanzanite comes out of the earth a dark brown chunk. It's a dark brown chunk, and then it gets irradiated and polished. And when it does, it's a blue or purple stone. That's my engagement ring. So you can get any kind of stone and you can look at any kind of vibration that you get from that stone. And I've recently taken rocks on the beach not knowing that it's illegal. Yeah, you don't want to be grabbing big chunks of stuff, but a little stone. But what I do is when people come to visit Sedona, and I knew someone not too long ago before, there was no travel. There were travel restrictions. And months ago, and she said to me, I want to come back here. I feel so drawn to here. And I said, then you can take a spoonful of Sedona earth, but leave a gift in return. And she said, like what? And I said, well, some seeds for the birds, water a plant with your water bottle, take something that you've carried with you and bury it in the earth, say a prayer. So taking large things may not be legal because, certain people own that stuff. But you can acquire by permission if you go to a forest and you ask and you see a stone, and that's utilizing your intuition. I've always talked to rocks, and and plants. So when you see something and you say, oh my gosh, you're so beautiful. Can I meditate with you? Yes. You get that. Yeah. Can I take you home with me? And you might feel a tugging sensation like no. Then you put it back. So, everything is by permission on this earth. Everywhere in the galaxy. We want it to be by permission. Okay. Yes, singing bowls are great too. So you can, get different tones all the way up the scale to help you express emotions or move energy. Sometimes if I feel really stuck, I put on headphones and I listen to certain tones, music, chanting, film scores to movies that I love. It helps me change my feelings. So that's also important. My friends call me a beat freak because I never listen to the words of a song unless the beat. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. So these are the kinds of things that you can do to really help yourself move through a moment of despair or indecision. And I want to thank my husband for this suggestion of an open forum because, wow, I haven't stopped talking. Thank you for your questions. So I'm going to be back on Monday, and we're going to talk more about the Venus in retrograde and what's upcoming because I want you to be prepared for moving this energy in a very healthy way. All right, folks, thanks for being here. Be sparkly, be present, and I will see you on Monday. Come back.